Well, hello. Today I'm here to bring you part one of a very large, very late August wrap up. So in August, I read for me, record-breaking 12 books, and I tend to ramble, so I figured I would break this video up into two parts. I'll talk about the first 6 books today, and then in another video I will talk about the second 6 books, the second half of the month, the reading that I did. So hopefully this video won't get too super long, but let's just get right into what I read in August. So in August, I participated in Magical Readathon. I did do a couple vlogs. I had vlogged the second half of the month, but then I just never got around to editing them. Definitely let me know if you would still be interested in seeing them. I have all of the footage. I could edit them and put them up if you want to see them, but it just kind of became one of the casualties of trying to keep up with a booktube channel and also working, over 40 hours a week at a full-time job. So with that said, the first book that I read for Magical Readathon was Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss by Casey West. I've read a few Casey West books and they tend to read, well, I was gonna say they tend to read very YA, but they are YA, so I mean that doesn't really make sense. But they are definitely for the teenage girl, and me reading them, approaching middle age, it's kind of like, oh, these are for way younger people, and they read that way. But it was cute. So this was probably, that being said, this was probably my favorite Casey West that I've read so far. You have a girl who is an actress, or like an aspiring actress, and her father makes her get a tutor because she's obviously putting way more of her energy into her acting career and less energy into her schoolwork. She doesn't really think school is that important. She's going to be a famous actress. Like, she doesn't need typical basic education. So she gets a tutor. It's a boy, of course, and it's a YA contemporary romance. It's just kind of a typical Casey West book though. So I mean, go into it with those expectations. If you've ever read anything from her before and you didn't like it, you probably won't like this one either, but it was definitely my favorite that I've read by her. The second book that I finished in August is actually the only physical book that I have right here with me, and that was, oh, it's a shiny cover, The Escape Room by Megan Golden. This is the second Megan Golden that I read. A few months prior, or like a few months ago, I read Stay Awake by Megan Golden, and I really enjoyed it. I couldn't wait to pick up something else by her, and so I picked up The Escape Room. This was her first published novel, but it really doesn't read that way. Like, it doesn't read as a debut or anything. Like, it was already a very solid book. So she is definitely a new favorite thriller author. I will be checking out more of her books for sure. This one obviously has to do with an escape room. So in the escape room, you're following a group of investment bankers, like up and coming, like new money, super rich, like used to this exorbitant lifestyle kind of investment bankers. I think they're investment bankers. And a newbie to the company named Sarah Hall. So one day these investment bankers are, told to go to a meeting. They have this meeting at this escape room, and they have to work together to get out of it. It is a thriller, so I'm not really going to tell you any more than that, but this was a very solid read, and I gave it 4 stars. And like I said, I will definitely be checking out more from Megan Golden in the future. Next, I read Spy Family Volume 2 by Tetsuya Endo. Of course, this was a readathon. I was trying to do some short stuff, so I have a couple of graphic novels and manga in here. Volume 2 was more enjoyable than Volume 1 for me. I gave Volume 1 3 stars. I gave Volume 2 like 4 stars, maybe 3.5, but it's because we're starting to get a little bit more into the story and I was enjoying it. I have already picked up Volume 3. That will be in another wrap up in the future, but yeah, I enjoy it. Not much happened in Volume 2. We just got a little bit more world building and stuff, and we got introduced to some more of the key players in the series. Next, I read Lur Olympus Volume 2. I gave this one 4 stars as well. I feel like I enjoyed it more than the first one, And my main kind of gripe with the first one, not really like a gripe, but I wasn't a huge fan of the art style, which is a me thing for sure, because I feel like a lot of people say the art is gorgeous, they love it, like whatever, it's one of the main draws. It just wasn't my favorite, but I found in volume 2 it didn't bother me nearly as much, like maybe I kind of adjusted to it or whatever. In volume 2, there is a lot of emphasis on like the age gap between the two main characters, which it's a Hades and Persephone kind of reimagining, so, you know, it is what it is, but I did enjoy it more than the first one. So again, I have already continued with that series. That's what happens when you do a wrap up like 2 months after you finish the books. After that, I read Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 5th book in the Mistborn universe and the 2nd book in the 2nd era of Mistborn. I didn't really, okay, so I gave Alloy of Law, I think 4 stars, and I gave this one 4 stars, but I feel like I didn't enjoy this one as much. I think Wayne's humor in this one was getting more juvenile and like think in the vein of like fart jokes and stuff, like that kind of humor. And yeah, I just all around I didn't enjoy it as much as Alloy of Law. I think also because like the feeling of being back in the world of Mistborn had kind of worn off. Like I had that with Alloy of Law, and then with Shadows of Self I had already been back in the world, so it wasn't as like brand new, like back in the world, that excitement anymore. But that being said, it is still Mistborn. I did still enjoy it. Like I said, 4 stars. It might be like a high 3, low 4, but I still did give it 4 stars. Okay, and the final book that I'm going to talk about in this video is Finley Donovan Jumps the Gun. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It was probably the weakest installment for me in the series so far. I did still have a good time with it, but yeah, I don't know. It was just the weakest one so far for me. At this one, they are at they're at like a police academy, like for civilians, I guess, kind of getting training, like safety training or something. Yeah, it was good. If you have read the Finley Donovan books and you have not read the Auntie series by Jesse Q. Sutanto, I would recommend it because I feel like it's the same kind of, not the same, like definitely not the same jokes, but it's the same type of humor in the 2 series. So I feel like if you liked Finley Donovan, you would like the Auntie series by Jesse Q. Sutanto. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. Again, a lot of these books I didn't really want to say too much about because they're all pretty much all continuations of series, like not first books in series. But Finley Donovan, if you don't know what it is, of course, you probably do. If you've been on BookTube for more than 5 seconds, it was very popular. Finley is a single mom. She's an author that's kind of down on her luck. She's having a conversation with her agent in like a Panera Bread or something, I think. And their conversation is overheard by someone who then assumes that she's a hit woman and gives her a job, and she kind of goes along with it, says, hey, what if I took this job and got this money? So that's the basic premise of that one, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely check it out if you have not, and if you have and you have not checked out the Auntie series, definitely go read that. So that is it for the first half of my August wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. Definitely let me know if you've read any of these books, if you had similar or different tastes or opinions about them, let me know. And I will be back soon, hopefully, with my part 2 of my August wrap up. Okay, I will see you next time. Bye.